Okay, we're on the red thing. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. My name's Jasmine, and I'm a certified family coach, and I work with teenagers in educational institutions, and I support parents in the workplace and companies. And as you know, every week I interview different experts who make a difference in people's lives. And today I'm very excited to be talking to expert Ciaran. Ciaran, please tell us about yourself and what you do.
Thanks, Jasmine. I'm Ciaran McBreen, and I'm a secondary school teacher. I'm also a certified mindset coach, and lots of my work is with teenagers and with their parents, essentially bridging the gap between the challenges of life as a teenager and how we can support teenagers by building a skill set around them. So all of my work is teenagers and parents.
Amazing. And you chose this title, Supporting Parents to Understand Their Teen. So what made you choose this title?
Yeah, I always go down this road with everything I do. I think teenage life is very tough. It's very, very tough. It's very challenging. It was difficult when we were teenagers. It's far harder now, far harder now. And I think it's very important that adults, not just parents of teenagers, but adults in general, appreciate how difficult it is being a teenager in today's society. And with everything I do, the workshops I do with parents, the book I wrote, everything, and the podcast, everything is about bridging that gap. You know,
Yes.
the stronger that connection, the more understanding associated with teenage behavior, the more we can help. So that's essentially why this topic is my topic.
No, it is your topic. But let me just interrupt with a little problem that I'm having right now. The live is not going to LinkedIn. I'm so sorry about this. This has never happened before. I don't know if you can see, because the live is going live because we're going to YouTube and Facebook, but it's not going to LinkedIn.
Okay. Let me check. I'll check LinkedIn for you.
Can you check? Because it says an error has occurred on LinkedIn. This is usually temporary. Wait a moment and try again. And we want it to go on LinkedIn.
Don't panic. Relax.
Okay. Thanks, Ciaran. It's never happened before.
So I'm on your page.
Yeah. Can you see us live?
I don't see us live, unfortunately.
No, we're not. We're not live on my page. Right. Oh dear. What do we do? Continue to LinkedIn.
You want to set it up again, start it again? Do you want to see how many people are actually
Yes, me too.
There's nobody connected, so we're not disappointed.
Yeah, let's do that. Can we? But how strange. Okay, we'll come back in the same link. We'll try it again.
Sure.
Thanks, Ciaran. But hopefully, okay. I'll see you in a minute.
Okay, doke.
Okay, bye-bye. Oh my God, am I actually live? Okay, just waiting for Ciaran, I think. I'm still live. Okay, it won't be a second. I didn't realise.
Hello.
Ciaran, I'm so sorry. And can you actually believe it? It says that we're live. It didn't turn off.
Okay.
Okay, this is very bizarre. So I do apologise. This has never happened. I've been doing.
Absolutely.
Okay, but now it's saying it's not on. This is very strange. Are you on? You're not on any. It's not. No, it's not because of you. Of course, it's not. Okay.
Check again.
I think it's. Yeah. Can you check LinkedIn again? But how weird. If anyone can see us on LinkedIn, can you write a comment in the box, please? Because it's not. It's saying that we're not on LinkedIn.
No, I'm afraid it's not coming up.
Oh my God. But why? Can you believe it? I just really don't. Oh, now we're live. Now it's saying we're live.
Wonderful. Well, I think we're live.
Can you see us on there?
Check again.
Sorry. Because now it's saying we're live. If anybody's has had the excitement of watching us for 6 minutes doing this, then, lucky them. But we're live now. We're live now. So I'm probably just going to start again because we don't know.
No problem.
If so, I'm Jasmine Navarro. I'm so sorry if you've heard this before, but I'm a certified family coach. I'm working with teenagers in educational institutions, and I support parents and companies in the workplace. And as you know, every week I interview different experts who make a difference. And today I'm super excited to be interviewing Ciaran. Ciaran, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I can, Jasmine. Thank you so much again. I'm Ciaran McBreen, and I've lots of different heads at different stages of the year. I'm a secondary school educator. I'm a secondary school teacher. So I work in education, and I also do lots of work with teenagers and parents and mindset coaching. I'm a certified mindset coach. I'm a podcast host of Let's Listen with Ciaran McBreen, where we talk about challenges adults are having. And we develop strategies how to overcome these challenges. And the whole idea there is that the listener resonates with the story and picks up some potential solutions to their own personal challenge. I'm an author of my book, Listen, Teenagers, their challenging stories and how to help them. And that's similar to the podcast. It's about people telling their story and me this time coming up with solutions to overcome that challenge. With the book Teenagers, I interview teenagers that told their story and I pieced their story together. So everything I do is listening, is questioning, and is encouraging people to express themselves and not to suffer in silence, and certainly not to suffer alone.
Wow, Ciaran, I love everything. And I have to say, I've been reading your book and I think it's absolutely amazing. And I love all the work that you're doing. And your podcast, I love that as well. And I was a guest as well, wasn't I? And I think it's very real. But what was I going to say? It's freezing sometimes, isn't it? But that's okay. So you chose supporting parents to understand their teen as a topic today. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, I run parent workshops, the Parent Problem Preventer. Excuse me. And the reason I designed this workshop was because parents would contact me, and understandably, you see a problem and you want it fixed. And I get phone calls, I get messages, I get whatever it is saying, please help, And I decided to piece together a preventative approach as opposed to, me working individually with all these students. Instead, I can work with the parents, give the parents the skill set that they can use these skills at home. And I want to build that the bridge between parent and teenager, and adult and teenager. As I was saying, teenage life is tough. It was tough when we were teenagers. It's much tougher now. There's no hiding place. Social media is is a great tool, but it's also a very hurtful tool, very nasty tool. And lots of teenage challenges come with social media. And, you know, there then creates a problem within the house when the teenagers are, grumpy, when they're staying in their bedroom. COVID, a massive one. Students are very used to doing everything in their bedroom, socializing through social media, exercising, potentially watching videos on YouTube and doing the workouts in the bedroom. And then with COVID, learning in the bedroom. So students, the bedroom is a very safe place. We need to be very careful that we don't leave them there. If we leave them in the bedroom, they're missing out on life, on real life skills. And I'm an educator, but I'm all for real life skills. For me, it's not the number at the end of the year for the exam. It's the progression, it's the development as people, as individuals, from a social element of inquiring, of reflecting, of communicating, of listening and questioning and working as a team. The skills we need in life, we need. You think back to the skills, my exams in education, and I did so poor at school, and it's why I'm so passionate about education now. So much stuff I did in school, I don't use anymore. But I use teamwork. I use reflecting, emotional. Yeah. Let's look at emotional intelligence. So much stuff that we need to be learning in school. So I'm kind of digressing there, but everything I do is to make adults aware of teenage life.
Oh God, yeah, and I absolutely love that, and I agree with every single thing you said, and especially you mentioned emotional well-being as well, didn't you? You said it in a different way, but
emotional intelligence, yeah.
Emotional intelligence, yeah, you said emotional intelligence, exactly. And I think this is something that I'm really, really passionate about myself as well, because I think if we can learn to regulate our emotions, then that is just a huge skill in life, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to fully dissect education and criticize it, because obviously it's needed. And I'm so lucky to work in an IB school. And when I teach, all my teaching is through inquiry-based learning. I'm so passionate about teaching, but teaching correctly, teaching not to memorize stuff, but teaching to develop skills that we can use in life. And, looking at our emotions, because adult life is tough. Teenage life is tough. Adult life is also tough. So we need to develop these skill sets, develop this armor, and provide people with the skills that they're going to need in real life and to deal with real life problems.
Exactly. And I know, I mean, like you said, you're a teacher and a coach. So when you're teaching at school, can you, because I was a teacher, and I know that there's so much to do when you're at school teaching, and you just can't fit everything in. How do you manage to sort of support the emotional side of things, or the coaching skills? Can you do that when you're teaching as well, or is it just kind of impossible?
So do you mean, do I bring coaching skills into my lessons?
Exactly. That would have been an easier question. Yeah, exactly.
It makes me a much better teacher. I think if every teacher, learned the skills of coaching and autonomy and providing control and questioning and listening, to be better teachers. I love the self-determination theory, number one. And I love giving control to people. I love to put the onus on them to want to do something as opposed to having to do something. And obviously it doesn't work with every student, but motivated students it works with, and it's wonderful preparation for university life, because in university life they're getting no second chances. They're not being spoon fed. So using a coaching approach and an inquiry approach for me is very, very important in my delivery, and I see the rewards. I see, it might take time. It takes time to condition students, but eventually you get there. And once they get it, then we get the outcome that we all desire. And within that, they're developing real skills.
Yes. And I think, well, you hit the nail on the head when you said it takes time. And I think that is the key thing that we all need to remember, that there aren't any quick fixes. So there's no, sometimes when, people come to me to have sessions and they expect really quick results. And I think like with everything takes time, doesn't it? There's no overnight sort of quick solution, and you have to work at things and even learn coaching. I don't know, for my journey, maybe your journey as well, it's taken a lot of time, and I've worked on myself, and it's
Absolutely.
not a quick and painful painless
The conditioning to change behavior, it's like refine, 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 but
yeah,
you can't give up. And it's the same with parents. When I work with parents and I get them to try something and say, oh, it didn't work. That's okay. We don't expect it to work because the person on the receiving end isn't expecting it. But when the same question is asked a second time, a third time, a fourth time, then we're changing something. In order to change anything, we need to be patient and we need to keep digging, 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 probing, probing, probing. And eventually we get there. Eventually we get the end product that we want, But it's the same with students. The skills have to be applied. So when I do the Student Wellbeing Warrior program, I might teach a listening skill, a questioning skill, a gratitude skill, an appreciation skill, whatever it is. But there's no point. I always say, don't come to me and invest your money and invest your time, more importantly, if you're not going to apply the skills, because it's the applying the skills. That's where learning takes place.
yes,
So if you come on to me for a 45-minute session and I teach you something and you're like, whoa, this is amazing. It's only amazing if you do it.
yeah,
Only amazing if you apply the skill. Fail, which is fine. Learn, reflect, and redo and redo and refine and redo and etc. Because that's where the real learning takes place, and that's where the skill happens. It doesn't happen with me and the client. It happens in real life.
exactly. And it's like you said, it's about experimenting, trying, exploring, being consistent as well, because sometimes you can try something one time, but maybe you do it again, you tweak it, you keep going. It's all a process, isn't it? It's like,
Absolutely.
actually, it's a never-ending process when you think about it. But I think teaching, and I think that's something we agree on, teaching these skills to teenagers is absolutely key, and it's life-changing for them, isn't it? Your whole life will go in another direction if you have these skills to work with.
I've said this before. When I trained to be a coach, I obviously trained to learn a skill to use this skill. I didn't think I'd be using it on myself as much.
No.
And it's made me a better person, a better friend, a better husband, a better dad, because I apply these skills. And this is why I'm so passionate about teaching these skills, because they're work and they're simple. And every time I do a workshop, the first thing I say to people is, it could be a 1-hour session, it could be a weekend workshop, whatever it is, I say, what we're going to do is absolutely simple. And you're going to think, oh, I can't believe I'm paying for this, for example.
Yeah.
The reason it's simple is because we apply simple skills. If it's like putting together ingredients of a dish you're making. You go on YouTube, and if it's any more than 5 ingredients, I switch off. So if it's a simple ingredient, I make it. So my point is, by making the workshops, by making the skills simple, people will apply these skills. By applying the skills, they will learn. By learning, they will redo. By redoing, we're changing behavior. We're conditioning a completely different way of doing things. And that's why it has to be simple. It has to be simple. And then it's also, Jasmine, it's also simple because with life is busy, life is competitive, everybody, especially in this part of the world, everyone works hard. We tend to forget and miss out on the basic things in life, and questioning and listening are part of that, being present, holding space, giving some time to all of these simple skills. We don't do enough because we're busy. So it's important that we slow down. It's important that we reflect on the skill set we use on a daily basis and do more of the basic things that we would have done more 10, 20, 30 years ago, which is listening, questioning, which is communicating to people. How many friends do people have? I say, oh yeah, I haven't spoken to him in 4 months. What? What kind of friend? Ring, make a phone call, organize a coffee, jump on a Zoom, communicate. But just do it. Don't look for excuses not to do it. Just do it.
Completely agree. I can completely agree. It is sort of ironic that we are going back to sort of basics, aren't we?
And that's exactly it. You've hit the nail in the head. We must go back. Excuse me. Must go back to basics.
Must go back to basics. So what would you say? Yeah, I completely agree with everything. And also, yeah, the simplicity, I think, because if you try and learn too much at one time or teach too much at one time, you just become overwhelmed and you don't do anything, do you? Nobody does anything.
On my pre-recorded course, a module could be 5-10 minutes long. It's very simple. But I purposely tell the students who it's designed for, do not do this all at once. Do one module, go and apply them skills. When you've applied them skills, reflect on it. Then come and do module 2, so on and so on. So the application is key. Don't do a course for the sake of saying, I've done it. Do a course and learn.
So do you think the problem is everyone, I mean, a lot of people, me included, are just so impatient?
That's definitely one. Definitely. Everyone wants a quick fix. Same as, I've got a headache, take a tablet. Well, wait a minute. Maybe just, take a rest and drink some water. It might take a few extra hours longer, but do we really need that tablet? And the tablet is the quick fix. Everyone wants the quick fix of, I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad situation at work, I'm having my teenager's having a bad quick fix. Let's look within and let's start thinking, what can we do to support this person? Of course it might be a coach, okay, but it can also be done at home. What adults need to remember is that we all have this skill set. We just don't use it. We're not applying it in the home. And lots, when I say lots, I'm talking over 90% of the clients I have come to me because there's a lack of communication. My whole book is based on a lack of communication. I worked in London and I worked within a challenging socioeconomic environment. And the parents were not present in the life of the teenager. There was lots of neglect, They weren't working, they weren't parenting, they were off doing other things. Possibly not appropriate to discuss on this platform. But I've seen lots of lost students. And I used to create conversations with them and they would tell me, oh yeah, my dad's not around, my mom's not around, and I'm stealing because of this. I'm not doing my homework because of this, horrific stories. And it was heartbreaking. And then I came to Dubai and I found myself having conversations with teenagers. And they'd tell me, mom's not around, dad's not around, because they're CEOs of a company, they're working, they're busy, and of course they're trying their best to provide. So the dynamic in Dubai was very different, but there was still neglect there.
The same story though.
Definitely neglect. They were not present in their lives. So I decided to put these stories together, and essentially it's called Listen, because it's a cry for help from young people to say, for goodness sake, can you just listen to me? I've got a problem, just listen to me. And remember, if we nip these problems in the bud early, they don't need to be massive issues, but they can grow and they can snowball, and they do become massive issues eventually if that simple communication is not present at the start.
When somebody's feeling lonely, especially a teenager, and maybe feeling not heard or seen or neglected, that can be very dangerous, because like you said, probably they will spend more time on social media then. Maybe they're more likely to talk to people who are not good for them on social media, possibly. Hang around with people who are not good for them because they want to feel liked.
They're surrounding themselves with the wrong types of people, and they're following the wrong types of role models on social media. It's a massive pattern.
Exactly, and it's quite scary, really. And considering all we need to do is listen. But what would you say then to these busy parents who are maybe trying to find ends meet? I don't know, they have to work, or maybe they're too busy, or whatever the reason, like, what would you say? Because
And look at, every family dynamic is different. We need to appreciate that. And what I say now will work for one family may not work for another family.
it's true. Yes, you're right.
It's very important. One thing I would say, and I'm very passionate about this with my own children, is for them to know that you're there. To know that if they've got an issue, Dad, I can talk to Dad, I can talk to Mom, and even if Dad's in Hong Kong working, it can be a phone call, it can be a Zoom. But the key is that they're approachable, their arms are open, and we are available to help. You are not alone. And it's not just with the parent and the teenager, it's also with the work I do with the podcast. It's for people to feel in any aspect of it, I'm not alone. If we had Linda Bonner last week on the show, a really deep topic of challenges she had with her body growing up, her diet. And, somebody out there is listening going, I feel just like that. And that's the case for people to make that connection. And then what we do, we get Linda to tell us what strategies she uses to overcome that. And that person can learn from that. It's the same with the book. Everything is about highlighting these challenges for people not to feel alone. Chapter 1, let's say it's about a young girl who's lost at school, a young girl who struggles academically, and who just hates education because she doesn't get it. Okay, so by her voicing her story, let's say she's based in London. Well, somebody in Sydney could be hearing that and going and reading it and going, yeah, that's me. It's me. And people say to me, when I have a teenager, I'm going to get your book. And I've had adults who don't have children tell me on the phone, tell me personally, crying to me saying, oh my God, chapter 5 was me when I was at school. Because we've all been teenagers. So we can all relate. We've all been teenagers, so we can all relate. And I can relate to so many of these stories myself. I hated being a teenager. I just did not like school. I did not like school, and I didn't see the point of it. I didn't work hard. I take ownership. I didn't work hard enough to be successful. But I hated school, and I didn't learn, and I didn't do very well in school. And 18 years later, I got a first-class honours master's degree in education. And I say that because at school, I thought the academics weren't here. It was conditioned in me, fail, 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 fail. And, I learned how to learn. But I was reading.
Your way. We all learn differently.
But I was reading about stuff I was interested in. So I was passionate about reading. My degree was in sports science with business. My master's degree was education, coaching, and mentoring. But I was interested in reading. But in school, I didn't have interest. So I'm not blaming the system. I don't agree with the system, but I'm not blaming the system. I'm not blaming my teachers. I didn't work. Why? Because I had no interest. Why? Because what I was reading was boring, essentially. So I've completely digressed now.
No, that's okay, because it's all connected, isn't it? It's all about us being there for teenagers, and that's what is our passion, because we both went through difficulties in our teens, and maybe it didn't have to be like that. That's the thing. Maybe if you'd have just had a teacher who was a bit more understanding, or who taught it in a different way, things could have been different. Maybe. Do you think?
And that's what I always say when people, tell me about their problem. It doesn't have to be like this. We can fix it. I'm a big believer of fixing it, and it could be something physical. I always say to people, in today's society, everything's fixable. If you don't like your nose, we can fix that. If you don't like your job, we can fix that. Everything is fixable. Obviously, to an extent.
Yeah.
To an extent. Regarding, obviously, there's illnesses out there and stuff like that. But most things. Most things are fixable, and they're fixable by sharing the problem.
Exactly.
We need to share the problem.
Exactly. Things don't, and not every situation, but most situations, things don't need to be as bad as they seem.
That's it. And you know what? As a teenager, you multiply that by 10. And that's why I'm so passionate about all this, because I don't want teenagers to be in school upset. it doesn't need to be like that. So many amazing teachers out there that want to help and that will help, but they can't help unless they know. Parents, so many amazing parents out there that want and will help, but they can't help unless they know. So we got to encourage this projection of sharing these problems.
Yeah, and that it's okay. It's okay to have problems. I mean, it's actually normal, isn't it? It's part of life to have problems.
That's what we're trying to do with the podcast and the book. We're trying to say, you're not the only one with this problem. It's okay to feel like this.
Yeah, it's normal. It's life. It's what we do. It's what we have is to be a human being is to have problems, and that's completely normal. But it's like you said, when you isolate yourself, these problems become so overwhelming and unmanageable. I mean,
It just gives,
yeah.
it just gives a negative spiral from the problem to then you're secluding yourself. You're stuck in your bedroom, then you're communicating with the wrong people. You're building up patterns of behavior based on what you see that are not positive. So it's all a negative spiral.
Oh, exactly. And like you said, it just doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. So what would be your biggest message today to parents?
Well, as I was saying, the main thing I would say is just to be present, to let your teenagers know that you're there for them.
Okay, yeah, all right.
99.9% are there, but maybe the child just doesn't know.
Emotionally there, emotionally available.
Emotionally available. And sometimes we need reminders, because how often do we hug? And my Sophia is 4, Harry is 3, and I'm a very huggy dad. And I'm sure lots of parents are at that age, but why stop at 16, 14, 15, 17, whatever it is? Why stop? Let's make your children aware that this love and this kindness is still there. Yes, we might be busy, and of course there's other ways to show it, but maybe we just need to reel back and go back to the basics.
Back to basics, exactly. Thank you. And how do I pronounce this name? Can you? Yeah. Oh yeah, Quizera. Thank you so much. He said, "Well." So yeah, Ciaran. I mean, I could talk to you all day about this, but we do have homes to go to. but no, I loved everything that you were saying. I completely agree, and I think maybe you could put your book in the comments as well. I don't know if you have a link to where people can buy that book, because I think
you're based in Dubai. I can get one to you where you're not paying shipping costs. So it actually works out cheaper. So this hardback book is not the one that's available on Amazon. It's a beautiful copy, and these are the ones I deliver in Dubai. So if anyone in Dubai, please reach out. It is available on Amazon. Listen, teenagers are challenging stories and how to help them. And if you're in the UK or Ireland, that can be delivered pretty quickly.
Amazing. Amazing. And how can people find you, Ciaran?
Instagram, CMB Coach McBreen, LinkedIn, Ciaran McBreen, and Facebook, CMB Coach McBreen.
Amazing. And you can put those links in on LinkedIn as well, if you like. And if anybody has a question for Ciaran, please feel free to message him directly, or me. You can just write it in the comments. Any questions about what we've been talking about today. And sorry about the first few minutes, because I think that's going to be on there as well. But thank you so much, Ciaran. Is there anything else you would like to say before we go?
No, like the coaching industry can be quite wishy-washy. I appreciate that, and not everything that coaches do will resonate and will work and will land. But remember, it's a pick and mix. It's important that you try something, and if it doesn't work, don't give up. Just maybe shift the way of doing it, or refine it and change it slightly. But I've got lots of clients who love visualization, who love deep breathing exercise. I've got other clients who hate it, but we don't know if they love it or hate it unless we try. And it's the same with parents. We're gonna try this, we're gonna try that. I've flat out with my daughter trying to get her to eat certain foods. And she's like, no, I don't want to eat that. We've got to keep trying. We got to keep trying. And one thing, if I can just leave with one last thing, assuming our audience are parents, is that, when they were waking up at 6 months old and they caught crying, you didn't leave them crying. You attended them. So let's not leave them crying as teenagers, and let's be there for them.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ciaran. Yeah, very powerful words. And I really like what you said about keep trying, because it's like the same thing. Keep going, keep trying. It's life, isn't it? And it is a struggle, to be honest. I think for everybody's struggling with something, but we just have to keep trying, try new things, sharing, supporting. But that's life, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
But thank you so much. Oh,
yeah, thank you for having me and putting me in a platform. And you're doing wonderful stuff yourself, Jasmine. So fair play to you. Well done.
Thank you so much, Ciaran. Really appreciate that. Likewise. And see everybody next week.